chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You can hear with some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, what do you know? It is a fabulous Friday, and it's time for another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Good afternoon, Cayman Islands. Good morning to our global family, and welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. This is the final one. This is the final one for 2025. We are voices of the islands, conversations for the world, the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I'm your host, Sabrina, and yes, it's that time. I'm wishing everyone a happy Friday, having a fabulous one, I'm hoping. And I thought this was quite fitting for today. Have a fabulous Friday. My humble, and I'm hoping that this may humble you. May your cup overflow with love, joy, peace, and pure awesomeness. So, yes, that's my wish for you today on this fabulous Friday. And this, let me tell you, the lights are twinkling and the air is definitely festive. And tonight we're just not celebrating the season. We're celebrating each and every one of you. Yes, our incredible family. And we're going to continue with the discussion as well from last night, but it's a little mix of two things. But you, our incredible community, and for all of you being your supporters and just for putting up with me, because yes, this is our final live episode for 2025 before I take a short break and return fresh in January of 2026. And oh my, what a journey it has been. And the show has definitely grown. It continues to thrive and to reach new heights. And that's all because of you. Your voices, your engagement, and your unwavering support, all of which I am humbled and I am really, really grateful. So for every call, for every comment, for every moment, and I'll be sharing one little clip that was shared with me today. It seems so long ago, but yet it was just a few months ago. But yeah, for every moment, for every dialogue, that has built this space into something bigger than ever I could imagine. And for me, just holding it down here, OMG, never saw this ever in my life. But the content you are about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, or participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all of its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented here. 345-936-8255 is the number to call and be a part of the discussion. Yeah. And you know what? International Lighting is still doing it. Yes. International Lighting at Ed's Plaza. We cannot forget them. It's only 5 days left for Christmas, and I'm quite sure if he has 5 of those sets that I'm telling you about, you're lucky. So if you're interested in getting some of those bedspread sets, you better head down to International Lighting at Ed's Plaza, or even check the Bodentown store, because this is their last 2025 big sale that is going on, and you don't want to miss out on those huge savings. Remember, I told you about those 24 and 32 piece bedspread sets. 5 days left to go before Christmas Day. And if he got 5, you'll be lucky. But he still has kitchen rugs and all sorts of curtains as well, and other accessories too. So you still got that opportunity as well to, for every $50 that you spend, you'll be entered into the draw to win a round trip Cayman Airways ticket to any destination that they fly. So definitely give them a call. Give them a call for more information, 345-949-5141. They'll be open a little later this evening, around 6:30, maybe 7. So yes, from 9 until 6, nevertheless. So you want to go down there and check them out. But it is indeed a pleasure to be here with you. I try to get all festive for you today. I got to keep sitting down, though. I can't stand up. Oh, no, I can't stand up. We'll get into that after the weather, because I'm keeping it real here with you, because I know you got a lot of plans for the weekend. But here we go. We just had a few showers, and the synopsis calls for more showers are expected tonight, mainly across Grand Cayman, as instability continues to affect the islands. Partly cloudy skies are expected tomorrow, and winds will gradually increase while seas become moderate as the high pressure gradient tightens, and satellite imagery indicates, Satellite imagery indicates isolated low-level clouds cover drifting across the Cayman area. Now, the forecast tonight calls for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tomorrow's forecast calls for partly cloudy skies with 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near the mid to upper 80s with a heat index of 94. Winds will be northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. There'll be a high tide at 8:41 this evening, a low tide tomorrow morning at 3:24, and another high at 10:36. Sun is going to set this evening at 5:50 and sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:55. Now, the outlook calls for similar weather conditions are expected through Sunday evening. Fresh east to northeast winds and rough seas continues, and the forecast is to develop late on Sunday night as a high pressure system builds over the eastern United States. And guess what? A small craft advisory will be in effect from late Sunday night. So all of you boaters out there, please take heed to the weather forecast. And just be responsible. Nothing where birthdays came up or anniversary on my radar today, but I'm quite sure there's someone out there that's celebrating a birthday or an anniversary of some sort. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy day. No matter what it is you're celebrating, it is indeed once you're above ground. And I wish you many more of whatever it is you're celebrating. But let's see who's here. Barbara G, how you doing? Good evening, my love. And Connie is definitely here with us. Oh, the regulars. Barbara G, boy. Good afternoon. Compliments of the season. Yes, there is. And it's definitely on the way. Marshall, it's good to see you, my friend. Good evening to you as, I don't know about you, but as long as Shireen. But I got plans. It could kick off from this evening. Be it here and everywhere else. You got it, Connie. You know me, You know me. Well, hello to you, my dear. I'm trying, but you know, hear the joke, Tisha. I got to sit down. I can't stand up. I got to keep seated. Damian Henry, happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you, my dear. It's good to have you all here. Well, glad I don't manage those stuff at home. I'm free. Not so sure what that means. Yeah, you know me well. Connie, you know me well. And I'm kicking it off. I'm really going to look forward to just having some time. And I remember at the beginning I told you guys that I would be enjoying leave me alone. No managa, but not much. You fast. I told you guys that for the holidays, I was going to be enjoying experiences and just spending time with friends and loved ones means a lot to me. And I'm really looking forward to that this holiday season. But yeah, I love what I'm feeling going on here. And I welcome your feedback as we continue with today's episode. It's going to be a little lighter, of course, because we're celebrating you. And where's Jim? Jim's quiet, Connie. Go find our man. Go find our man. Well, have you heard? Yes, murder. Have you guys heard? Have you guys heard about the we got an early caller. Hey, good evening, caller. How you doing? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. How's it treating you?
Well, happy holidays back to you, and thanks very much for those wishes. I just thought, well, let me call in first of all to give some good wishes to a number of people, but also to finish off what we did yesterday, so that if we can finish off the hard topic,
then we get into the lighter
expression.
Yes.
Then we can get there into the lighter bits, and of course there's a lot to be fitted in, and there's always things which you don't predict which happen.
I'm flexible.
Yes, and thanks very much for that. And I also wish, in turn, in addition to wishing you, Sabrina, and yours all the compliments of the season, I wish the same for your audience, for the whole audience of CMR, all the other shows, including, of course, the lead show, the Cold Hard Truth. It's just amazing that only a few years ago, when Sandra started doing the show, it was very difficult to predict, or even to just really think that today it would be really the biggest media house
and continue to grow,
and continue to grow. And then I hope that our calling in and trying to participate does help in that growth. And we are really grateful, and I think I speak for other people as well, for this platform, your platform and the broader platform, for allowing us to sometimes just vent, sometimes to try and see if we can make a contribution to the society. I mean, this is something you can take for granted, but really I don't think we should take it for granted. It's a very, very great opportunity to be able to come in and engage with people. And talking about engaging with people, I see one of your regular listeners there is Miss Palmer Connie Lynn.
Oh yeah, Connie. That's my girl.
Connie, who has just become my friend on Facebook.
Aww.
So that's also very nice. So every time when I get on Facebook, there are some icons I keep seeing here and seeing there, and so on. That's always very good. Now, let me just finish off without taking too long about that issue about freedom of expression and how this matter of Sandra being charged, which, by the way, again, it is a pity that we are ending the year on that challenge. But like one senator once said, he said that all freedom is granted on one condition, and that is eternal vigilance. Now, the fundamental rights and freedoms that we have are not, conceptually, they are not given to us. We are born with them. They are inalienable. And all that happens is that these documents, like the fundamental rights chapter of the Constitution, they just recognize them and try to define them and ensure that they are protected. But I really think that we should continue to fight. In Mozambique, when they were fighting for independence against the Portuguese, there's a phrase that they popularized. In Portuguese, it's a luta continua. meaning the struggle continues. So
Okay.
to me, with the challenge that we are getting now with Sandra being charged, then we should try as much as possible to remember that the fight always continues. But going back to that, and I won't take long on it. Yesterday we talked about how this charge against Sandra, we don't want to discuss the specific details,
Correct.
but we are allowed under the Constitution to discuss it so long as we do not affect the independence and the integrity of the court. But it's not about her. It's about all of us who have a right to speak, whether you call the show, even if you don't call the show, even if you can sometimes send a message. It's about protecting the rights of everybody. Secondly, it is not about the DPP's office only. It's about all authorities which have power and can use it properly or misuse it. And also we did talk about what appears to be the duplicity in charging of people. Doctors express people, they were really doing something improper, but they were never charged. A paralegal from portfolio of legal affairs is charged, but her boss is not charged. But just to pick it up now to say some new things today, I think this, Sandra, is a political problem more than it is a legal problem. I know that I think legally speaking, yes, it still has to go to court. But to me, I think it is an abuse of power, and it means that the checks and balances are not working very well. For example, one of the ways in which this kind of thing, like charging policies that are unclear how it can be addressed, is to ensure that when these reports from the DPP, the judiciary, the monetary authority, they go to Parliament. We spoke about this also the other day.
Hold on a second. Oops, I hope I didn't lock him off. Hello? Caller?
Hello, Auntie Sabrina.
Hold on, let me try to join these on WhatsApp. 1 second. Hello, Mr. Balika?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
hold
I
on.
think we got cut off a little.
Yes, we did. I'm trying to add another caller to you. 1 second.
Okay, very well.
1 second. Hold on, let me find that one. Just bear with me here. I'm just trying to get that. Go ahead, then I'll try to merge.
Okay, very well. So we spoke the other day, and you educated me on one point, which was that one of the reasons that the reports from these different government entities, when they go to Parliament, one of the reasons that they are not discussed is because they come so late. Okay? Like they come so late, and sometimes you are not even the minister, and it happened 5 years ago. So that's part of the problem. Now, that is an issue, of course, that can be dealt with. But all we can do is to say that for Parliament to properly perform its checks and balances function in relation to the executive, those reports should get to Parliament as soon as possible. And when they get to Parliament, they should be debated. Because if they can be debated, then when the DPP's report comes in, the members of Parliament can ask. We looked at the issue of Doctors Express. The judge commented that there was improper conduct there. Why weren't those people charged? Why did you charge this other paralegal in the portfolio of legal affairs when actually she had made full disclosure to her boss? Why didn't you charge her boss? Why did you charge Sandra Hill again for an offense which is similar to the one you charged her earlier on, and the Court of Appeal said that you couldn't, that she won that appeal? Why are you again charging her again for a similar offense? Is it because you disrespect the decision of the Court of Appeal? We thought that once a matter is settled at that level, then it should direct you in terms of your prosecutorial decisions. Now, Parliament can't say, you shouldn't have charged this one or that one, but can ask for you to explain about the consistency of your policies. And if they don't have a policy, then they should do. If they don't have a policy document, then they should develop it. Now, so that's how I see that to be more of a political issue. Also, I think Cabinet too needs to look at issues of human rights as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if it finds that certain things don't work the way they should see what kind of powers they have to advance those things. Let me give you an example of the issue about firearms. The issue about firearms convictions has been very controversial, as you know, in the Cayman Islands. People who come in from outside, experts, find sometimes $5,000. Some of them $2,000. And then that's the end. A local person, very often a young person, is found with a firearm, 10 years imprisonment.
Right.
Okay. And I think it was Ulrich Lindsay with his Black Box website who made a freedom of information request to say, can you give us a list of how many Caymanians, non-Caymanians are charged and what sentences they receive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that would have been easy enough information to provide, but they refused to provide that. They said, oh, it will unduly divert resources. Now, for me, I think Cabinet should have then said, okay, we will request it, not as an FOI, but as the government. We want to discuss it in Cabinet to see whether there's something we can do. Because if Cabinet were to do that, then the institution concerned can't say we can't divert resources, because that is only a ground which is allowed if a member of the public asks for it. So I'm still waiting for me that Cabinet, because this is very controversial in the Cayman Islands, they should ask the judiciary or the DPP's office, both of them should have the statistics, how many Caymanians are charged and what are the sentences, so that we can see that. Clearly, there is a disparity there, and I think that's why they refuse to do that. Okay? Now, let me try to conclude the one about Sandra. One, they are, I think, acting, in my view, in a manner that up to now, I'm not quite sure that it is above board. It appears to me they may be trying to financially put a strain on her, because this will take quite a little bit of expense again to fight. She might get legal aid, she might not get legal aid, and she might wind up having to pay a $600 an hour KC or something like that. I just don't think it is right. But about the case which was decided, Sandra Hill against the Queen, you see, that case it made it very clear that, okay, when she was charged under the ICTA law, which is misusing a telecommunications service, like to harass somebody, the court didn't say that that law was unconstitutional. They had the right to say that. But they didn't say it was unconstitutional. But they said, you know what? Cases, offenses like this are usually very broadly defined. It doesn't mean that just because technically all the ingredients of the offense have been met, it means that you did the right thing to charge them. Because since the Cayman Islands is under the European Code of Human Rights, the European Convention of Human Rights, what you have to do is to find out whether it is proportionate for you to charge the person. Because if it goes all the way to the convention, to the European Court, they will not just say, oh, the ingredients were met. Oh, then the person was properly charged. They will say, okay, in addition to that, was it proportionate? It is not enough to say that the ingredients were met. I'm not even quite sure in Sandra's case whether the ingredients were met. But even if they were, what the Court of Appeal said, if you go to paragraphs 14 to 20 of the case, they say very clearly, you must have a further test. Is this proportionate? And what they said in that case, they said, oh, this is not proportionate. And they made it very clear. They said, this kind of legislation was meant to prevent me sending repeated emails to Sabrina Turner, telling her that you are a crook, you are this, you are that, you are that, and so on and so forth, in her own space. It was not meant for cases where I report a case, I'm not in your space. You can watch that program, or you don't have to watch it. And the court actually emphasized that. So I don't know why they are charging her again, because the nature of the last offense and this offense are pretty much the same.
Okay.
What the government needs to do here, they need to follow precedent. Once the Court of Appeal does this, you must ensure that you follow that precedent. Otherwise, you are really you're looking like you're persecuting people. And of course, they have prosecuted her almost 9 times, and every time she has won. And clearly, there's something they have for her. I think that is right, and I think they should be ashamed of themselves going after a woman, a Caymanian woman who has struggled and been able to be successful, and they want to bring her down. While, for example, there was a police officer way back who assaulted another police officer who was, I think, either a Caymanian or Jamaican. They refused to charge that police officer. It was a clear assault. They just transferred him to the BRAC. And the man now had to go to court and fight on his own, using his own money.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he won the case, you know what the court said? They said, I think the problem here was that the disciplinary procedures in the police are not very good, which was utter nonsense. You assault somebody else. If that guy had been Caymanian, his goose would have been cooked. But let me leave it there.
But hold on. In the same vein of freedom of expression, as we see that is contained in the Constitution Order of 2009, where the Bill of Rights come in, and we're on that topic. That specific area actually covers the right to speak freely, write or publish opinions, share information through media, art, or other forms. And it also protects the rights to receive information and ideas. So I'm not so sure whether or not, like what you have alluded to, like the real Michelle said, and I don't know if you can recall, she says that I think I read Sandra's judgment, and if I recall, the RCIPS were specifically warned to refrain from targeting her. Do I recall correctly? Now, even if that's the RCIPS, this is totally different, isn't it? This is from an individual. Am I right here?
You mean in this particular case?
Yeah.
You see, the thing about this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing about this is that because in a sense, it involves an individual, and in a sense, it doesn't. Both of them, actually. You remember the other one was, it was the person who she was reporting on, okay? And then that person went to the public, to the DPP or to the government. Eventually, the government charged him. So that there were issues as to why didn't that person, if that person felt that they were defamed, why didn't they sue in a civil court? Was it because in a civil court, maybe they knew they wouldn't succeed? Because in a civil court, for defamation, you have to show that what is being said about you is a lie. Okay? You have to prove that. But in the charge that they charged her with, you don't have to prove that it is true or a lie. That's what the court said. So it was much easier, therefore, to just go there to say, this was a bullying thing, and the judge in the Grand Court said, well, I don't have to go into whether or not it was true, okay? I don't have to go into that. You have just bullied somebody, you're guilty. But when it went to the Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal said, well, the truth of it is also relevant because it is relevant to the issue of proportionality, okay? So, and then they said, well, so since you didn't get into the truth of it so that you could make a proper assessment as to the proportionality, then we don't see that this conviction can stand. And so you will find that this current one is similar because I understand, again, it came from the old politician, went to the police and said, this person is reporting about me and the person who used to work for me. And then the DPP gets it. And then charges. So do you see they are similar? It's like there's a private side to it, but there's also an action by the government.
Remember yesterday I used the term the chill effect, and I got a message afterwards, asking what that meant. And just for clarity, it pretty much means when people hold back from speaking freely because the environment is designed in such a way that they fear of consequences, even if the law technically protects them with their right to speak, as we're pointing out here. It's not about being, I would say, legally silenced, but it's about that feeling of being pressured or intimidated into silence. And that's what I meant when I said the chill effect. And that is a real thing.
Okay.
That's a real thing.
Yes, because it has not just it has also an intimidatory effect on those people who want to exercise that right.
Mhm.
They say, "Hey, they are prosecuting Sandra for this. What did she do? Oh, it was just a story about a matter of public interest, about an elected official, about money being spent to pay a personal assistant who was properly employed." It was like you are discussing something of a public interest relating to public funds, and if they can prosecute Sandra, maybe I better be careful with what I do.
Mhm.
Now, I'm looking at the provision now, the one that you were just rattling off there, Section 11. No person of the Constitution, which is the Bill of Rights, no person shall be hindered by the government in the enjoyment of his or her freedom of expression, which includes freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impart ideas and inform without interference,
Parents.
and freedom from interference with his or her correspondence or other communication. But then it goes on to the derogations. Yesterday, Danny talked about the derogations a little bit. 11.2, he said, nothing in this law done under done under its authority shall be held to contravene this section to the extent that it is one reasonably justifiable in the democratic society, one in the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, public health, and it's got a number of other things there, or where it protects the rights and freedoms of others, or protecting certain confidential information. I don't want to read it all, but basically there are certain exceptions. There are certain exceptions to say, yes, you've got freedom of expression, but you can't cry fire in a crowded theater. You've got freedom of expression, but you can't defame somebody else. You've got freedom of expression, but you can't review information which is given to you on a confidential basis, like a lawyer, a doctor, or those things. And so when this matter goes to court, they are going to say, is this something which was reasonably justifiable as a charge in relation to the matter that happened? And those are the criteria they are going to apply. I think that one of the things that a government needs to look at is to try and clarify this law even by statute. Because if we are going to rely on the courts, by the time you go to court and you win your case, you've spent so much money. There might be a need to go to some of these broad offenses, such as harassment, to say it is a defense for any charge under this section to show that the story which was given in good faith, and it was part of a public discussion relating to a matter of public interest. Like, to make it doubly clear that this harassment, although it is very broad, if you fall within certain categories, they shouldn't charge you. Rather than always relying on the court to interpret it. And then you can use the reasoning of the court in the Sandra Hill case to inform how you craft the law so that it is clear. Because at the moment, we are just relying on the court case to interpret the law. So what we should do now is take that interpretation of the law, reduce it into words, into the section, so that it is an exception which everybody can see. I think that will protect people better. Yeah.
Well,
that's what I used to do. Yeah.
Obviously, you walking like you're talking it as though it's a walk in the park. For you, it is, and that is why it is so good for us to actually ventilate stuff like this. But here we have another thing against us, Mr. Balika, being a small island state like we are, small island jurisdiction. You know, even though the truth is that our Constitution protects our right to speak, as I alluded to, under Section 13, but even being able to do that here in the Cayman Islands, exercising that freedom of expression can feel risky. When people think about their jobs, you know, how there could be that intimidation, even if it's a policy or something that you want to voice your opinion on, that is the downside of being a small island jurisdiction as well. And hence, again, we're hearing the term, the chill effect. And that can just put you straight into some isolation, or like what you've alluded to, could wipe you out financially, just trying to defend yourself and defend the same right under the Constitution that is put here to protect you. Look at what it takes for that to be effective.
Yeah. And that is a very important point because, and I have this discussion with some of my Kenyan friends from time to time. If the law is reasonably clear, for example, that you have a right to freedom of speech and you read it there, it covers you. The government should not deliberately charge you in a doubtful case. And then when you contest it, then they say, oh, but you see, if you've got a problem, go to court. No. Because going to court is not just like walking into Kirk's supermarket and picking up a pack of tomatoes, okay? You need to get your advice, your money, and so forth. And that's one thing which needs to improve in Cayman. There just needs to be need to, one, recognize the laws when they are clear, and to avoid this practice of saying, if you are unhappy, go to court. Because if a law is reasonably clear, then they should apply it the way it is. Okay, I've had cases, for example, when I left the portfolio of legal affairs. I tried to teach privately, they stopped me. Well, I tried to teach in government, they stopped me. I tried to teach privately, they stopped me. And then I went to the Civil Service Appeals Commission. The Civil Service Appeals Commission said, oh, there's nothing unfair. There's nothing unfair in us preventing you from getting permission to teach one or two little courses privately in the public interest. So I told him, I said, how can you say this is not unfair? Do you know that in the whole government, there's about 250 people who got permission to teach privately, and some of them even have got permission to coach basketball. And in our own portfolio, we had people who were authorized to go and help to operate a machine shop or a mechanic's shop. There are other people who were authorized to teach as well. But why have you singled me out? But what the Appeals Commission said, oh no, we don't think there's anything unfair. But what we suggest is that you get in touch with the Deputy Governor's office. Maybe they can resolve this amicably. So I told the commission, I said, no, but you can't fob me off like that to the governor, because it seems to me, I've been unfairly treated, but you don't want to say so. You want to beg the deputy governor to sort of like force my portfolio to make a certain decision. Okay. And then when I went there, by that time it had really like broken loose. And I went to court. And when I went to the deputy governor, I said, Deputy Governor, is it possible for you to resolve this? Because I think there's no policy preventing me from teaching privately. You know what Deputy Governor said? Said, oh, you've now already gone to court, so we have to wait for the court to decide. Now, that's the wrong attitude. What the deputy governor should have done, portfolio of civil service, to advise the portfolio of legal affairs to say, this is the policy that we have, that people should be allowed outside working hours to do certain things, so long as those things are not in direct conflict with what they do in the office, and so long as they maintain a certain confidentiality. And then if the deputy governor had so advised them, maybe I wouldn't have gone to court, or having gone to court, I would have withdrawn the case. So do you see? So the laws are there to protect us. But unless de facto people can understand that, people in authority, and they can be held accountable when they don't do the right thing, then that's a problem. For example, in a case like that, it should find its way within one of the reports of the civil service. And then when it goes to Parliament, Parliament should be able to say, but why did you stop this one from teaching, but you allowed the other ones? You have to be clear with your policies. So in other words, yes, the protections are there, but people need to recognize them and respect them and be held accountable when they fail to do that.
But
that's just, I mean.
But like we have seen where persons are like, okay, I know my rights. It's just like it's right there, but what it takes financially in order to actually fight this beast is why people actually retreat, why people see even the social pressures of, let's say, appearing on public forums like this, because one, they fear backlash, and they're fearful of, again, being in a small island jurisdiction like this. They could be overlooked for a promotion. They could be, even their family business or their businesses could be impacted by this because of the sheer size. And economic survival is where I think we're getting here. if they can literally use the system to almost put their feet in your throat to strangle you financially, that's where then you pretty much you pretty much just capitulate, you just give in. And at some point you have to think then of your own survival, if you have a child or children, your own well-being, but mentally, by the time that comes around, your reputation is shot, and many times with hard time being repaired, and you don't have access to or financial means in order to defend your own reputation.
Yeah. You see, I've been resisting very strongly, and not to say what happened to me precisely about what you're talking about, but let me first deal with this issue of access to the cost and the expense. First of all, when you join government, or any organization, but let's talk about government. When you join government, there are certain restrictions you have to accept. If, for example, you are a chief officer, you cannot be seen going on a political forum campaigning for a party. Okay, that's an extreme case. But also, you cannot be, even privately, an advisor to a political party. And we can go down there. There are a number of things which are defined, which are said you can't do that. And there was a case which went to the Privy Council. It's called. It was from Antigua. What happened was there was a demonstration in Antigua against corruption, and some civil servants attended. They were not really senior civil servants, people, accountants, assistant accountant level kind of people. They went there, and they were dismissed. And so the issue became, I am a civil servant. I have got freedom of expression. And if I go there and I join a rally like that, you are saying that I can't do that. You are saying that the rights in the Constitution don't apply to me. And the Privy Council said, look, you have those rights, but there's a balance we have to draw. If you are really senior, you can't be seen in something that is opposing what the government is doing. But if you are a civil servant, middle level to lower level civil servant, you joining a rally against corruption is not a violation of your duties in government. You are exercising your right, and also you are not part of the decision makers in government. And so they insisted that civil servants at a lower level have got greater freedom to exercise the rights under the Constitution than those who are at senior level, because at that level, there's a conflict of interest. When you are supporting your minister to take certain decisions, you can't be seen going out there to do that. So people must understand it. This is a matter of rights, that if you are at a lower level of government, that you do have more rights than your chief officer. But talking about costs, there is something that I'm fighting in the courts right now in Cayman. This is the issue of costs in government, in the court. In the courts, as you know, they've got this expression, costs follow the event. So in other words, if you lose a case, you pay not just your own costs of your own lawyer, but you pay the costs of the lawyer on the other side.
Correct.
Yeah. Generally speaking, now there are some little tweakings there. They can either make you pay the whole amount, or occasionally they might make you pay a small amount if there was like partial success. But keep it simple for purposes of radio. If you lose a case, you have to pay costs on the other side. But you know what? If you conduct your own case as a private individual, you don't hire a lawyer, and the person on the other side hires a lawyer, you are really, really disadvantaged. Because if you win your case, the maximum amount you can be paid under the Grand Court rules,
because you represented yourself.
Because you represented yourself, the maximum amount that the other side can pay you if you win is at a rate of $30 per hour.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. But if you lose, and the other guy hired a lawyer and was paying $500 an hour, when you lose, you will pay at the rate of $500 an hour. Do you see?
Oh my
It
God.
means that when you go to court, you are taking such a big risk if you don't hire on lawyer, because
You're almost
you can only
mandated
get
to.
$30 an hour.
Yeah.
You're almost mandated to. Okay. So what I have done is, there is a case of mine where I represented myself. And they said, oh no, we can only give you $30 an hour. I said, even if I'm a retired attorney at law, they said, yeah. Now I knew the rule. So I have challenged that. I went before Justice Asif. And I said, I'm challenging this order on the basis of the part of the Constitution which guarantees me equality before the law.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say that I'm equal before the law if when I lose, I pay $600 an hour? If I win, you pay me $30. How can that be equality before the law? It practically discourages anybody from representing themselves. I even cited the situation that they have in Ontario. In Ontario, they've changed that a little bit. Even if you go to court and you win a case as a self-represented litigant, they will give you roughly 2/3 or 3/4 of what the lawyer would get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little fairer there. You don't get $30. No, they have just worked it out that you will also get costs, but you won't get them at the rate that the lawyer gets. Usually it will be about 2/3 to 3/4 of what the lawyer gets, which is a little fairer. Now, I think, in my view, even that doesn't do enough. I think if I'm liable to pay you $600 an hour, if I win, whether I'm a lawyer or not, you should also pay $600 an hour. Because that's the only way in which it is equal. I went before Justice Asif. I asked for leave to appeal the order. He saw my argument and he gave me leave to appeal. And since then, we've been waiting for a date of hearing. And up to now, we've been waiting almost 9 months. I cannot get a date of hearing on that.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
So the system in itself now is almost like it's against. The system is so long,
exactly.
it's drawn out.
Exactly. It is long and it is drawn out. And to me, it is a constitutional issue. If I win a case, if I'm going to pay you $600, then you should also pay me $600. Otherwise, it violates the principle of equality before the law. And it means that if you can't afford a lawyer and you are forced to struggle through to represent yourself, you are really discouraged, because
You're not going to
it's a
get your
no-win
worth.
situation. Yeah, exactly. You are going to go there, even if you win, they give you, or maybe if it's 4 or 5 hours work, they give you $2,000. But if you lose, they charge you $20,000. It means you are disadvantaged right through. So, I mean, there's some other issue I'm fighting about costs as well. I think they are using a certain practice direction, which is illegal, but that is not quite directly in topic here. So there's a lot of battles I'm fighting with the judiciary. So.
Oh, wow. But, I'm happy that we went down almost in this rabbit hole somewhat, because it really probably explains why in small countries like this, it almost feels as though we're taken advantage of. It's better to just stay quiet, take your losses, and hope for the best. But what's the sense then of having all of these glitz and glamours in a constitution if the whole system, it's to me, sir, for everything that you've explained, it not making sense.
Yeah.
Because then it looks as though the system itself is going against the very fundamental constitution that is there as the Bill of Rights. Who holds them accountable for dealing with cases in a timely manner?
Exactly. And then you see, you can get legal aid right now.
Yeah.
You can get legal aid, and the rule says that if you get legal aid, they can't charge you costs. Okay. If you get legal aid, like if you are publicly funded and you lose a case, they can't order costs against you, because you are
using the government's resources. Yeah,
exactly. But then you see, I had an issue that I was dealing with this time when I was still in practice. I was representing the beach access colleagues of mine. These are Miss Alice Mako from West Bay, Miss Smith, Miss Annie Moulton, and a number of people there who were associated with the Concerned Citizens group. And you remember that when Ms. Alice Mako and her team, together with Ms. Betty Ebanks, when they challenged the closure of the West Bay Road, they went to court and they lost the case and they were charged this large amount of costs.
Mm-hmm.
And then that again became a little bit of a problem. So next time when now we wanted to go to court, they applied for legal aid. And when we applied for legal aid was denied. This was for a new case we were doing now on the beach access issue.
Mm-hmm.
Legal aid was denied. And you know what the director of legal aid said? They said that, well, the issue of beach access is not a matter of public interest, and therefore we cannot provide legal aid. And we said, what?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. It's not a matter of public interest. You mean the rights of way, which some people have enjoyed in multi-generations, camping sites over Easter, and you are saying that a group which is coming to you to try and preserve those rights under the prescription law, which says that if you use a right of way for 20 years or more, then it is indefeasible, it can't be taken away. And you are saying it's not in the public interest?
That doesn't make sense to me.
We were forced to appeal that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. We were forced to appeal it, took it before a judge, and the judge in the end accepted to say, no, this is a matter of public interest, so and gave legal aid. Okay, so you've got all these challenges. And then in Cayman, you see there's not many any groups like in Bermuda, they've got a group I'm in touch with, the Civil Justice Action Group.
Mm-hmm.
These are people who it's basically a group of people. Some of them were like paralegals, and they're just activists who fight for people who have like who can't get a lawyer. And then they also help to find an organization that can fund you in the civic area, who can fund you. In the Cayman Islands, I do not know of any organization other than the government legal aid department,
Mm-hmm.
which can help you to fight certain cases. Sometimes they'll say, okay, these organizations will look at the case, they'll say, okay, your case I think is very important, it will help other people, it might be a revolution in the change of the law, so we'll fund you.
Right.
We'll fund you, we'll get a lawyer for you, and then take you to court. Now in Cayman, I do not know of any organization that does that, although I know like Amplify did one time approach me to say whether maybe they could help me with one of the funds, the cases I was doing. So you see, those are the challenges that people face. And then you've got organizations like the Bar Association in Cayman. That's the most useless bar association in Cayman because they are not involved in these social issues. In other governments, you will find that, for example, in my home country, in my home country, if I can speak about that, the Bar Association there, it would, for example, like this charge which has come against Sandra, they could issue a statement to say, we are not going to question the charging decision, but we are asking you to specify the policies because as members of the Bar Association, we are supposed to be socially relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then the Bar Association in the Cayman Islands just is not involved in those kinds of issues at all.
Do you think it's, again, the small island development state syndrome? Everybody knows everybody. It's just such a small knit society that they do not even understand their, I guess, purpose, mission, and certain topics that they, from a national perspective, should be looking at. I'm just being devil's advocate.
Yes, two things. One, yes, maybe the small island syndrome is such that maybe they don't understand that, but also because the number of expatriate lawyers in the Cayman Islands, British lawyers and so on, is a large group. I don't think they are very much invested in social issues in the Cayman Islands. So that's a little bit of an issue there. So there is a lot really that needs to be done for things to be.
But it seems to me there's going to take a lot of unity and a lot of togetherness at the end of the day, because even though we're talking about this issue, it dovetails straight into freedom of expression and why we're seeing people saying, you know what, not me. If good come, I gotta get it. If bad come, I'm going to get it. But if we continue down this road, Mr. Balika, what's the sense of having a constitution and a Bill of Rights?
Exactly. Why do you have a constitution which says, oh, these are the institutions supporting democracy? One is the ombudsman. The ombudsman does something you don't like. You want to get rid of her. But that's my opinion, okay? That's just my opinion. And then you've got the Human Rights Commission. I have tried to go to the Human Rights Commission regarding one or two issues, but basically they could see what I was saying was correct, but they just said, well, there's nothing here. I complained against a judge who I won't name. I went to the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. I established with 13 emails that this judge was lying in what he wrote in his judgment. And it turned out that the Judicial and Legal Service Commission did not establish, for 7 years, they never established the rules which are necessary to allow me to complain. In fact, they only established them after the ombudsman told them to say that this is maladministration. She issued a decision. So the same day that she issued the decision, they rushed to put these regulations on the website because they didn't want to appear in her report. But by that time, she had already found them guilty. So in other words, during this whole time, 7 years, there was no mechanism whereby, as a member of the public, you could complain against a judge and have the judge be disciplined by the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. Because anytime when people wanted to complain, they just said, oh, but the rules have not been established. It went on for 7 years. We have rules today in the Cayman Islands on how to complain about judges because I pushed the issue for 2 years. Actually, it was after 5 years they had not established the rules. I raised the issue with Governor Roper. Governor Roper wrote to me and said, okay, they are aware that they haven't done so in the last 5 years, but they are going to do it. At the end of another 2 years, a total of 10 years, they hadn't done it. I went to the ombudsman. The ombudsman tried to work with them. They resisted and resisted until in the end, she wrote a very strong ruling. She said, you know what? This issue first arose 5 years into your failure to do it. 5 years, you didn't do it. And then after it came even to the attention of the governor, you didn't act with any sense of urgency. And now we have waited another 2 years. Therefore, I have no option but to find you guilty of maladministration. And that was a big decision because it was announced. And who are the members of the commission? The members of the commission are the president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the president of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of the Cayman Islands, the president of the Court of Appeal is the chairman of the commission. So she found these big, not just Cayman, but regional luminaries. She said, you are guilty of maladministration. Okay. So to me, my hat off to Sharon Ralston. She's been a very good ombudsman. But what has happened to her? They don't want her there now. I don't know that maybe they put a reason or not, but in terms of what I have read, it's an excuse. They just don't want the fact that she has been independent. So do you see? So people are afraid to complain sometimes because they'll lose their job. But even when they go to those people who are ready to stand up for them, those people also become targets. That's why I think it's important for people in the Cayman Islands to rally behind that lady and to try to see that she can just stay in office, finish her term of office. It's supposed to be a 7-year term. It's a non-renewable term. And I think that would be very good. At the moment, I think that we need to protect not just members of the public, but also protect people in the government who don't act like the DPP who is victimizing people, but who are ready to stand up on the part of the people, like the ombudsman. People must come out and rally behind her. So,
do you feel, in your humble opinion, the reason why these things continue to happen in our jurisdiction is because we are so passive? Like we sit down and we give up too easily? Or is that our culture? What is, you've been here, you've lived here. Do you feel we're just so nice that we're naive, or we just give up too easily? Or we don't have enough support?
I would say the answer is closer to not enough support, because for me, the Caymanians I deal with, they don't take things lying down. The Caymanians who I cooperate with to push certain issues, they don't take things lying down. They have challenged authorities. Some of them have gone to court and fought cases on their own and so forth. But the problem is that there are not enough Caymanians who are ready to do that, because the population of indigenous Caymanians is going down anyway. So most of the people who are out there, oh, if it happens, oh, maybe they might not renew my work permit and so on. So there are just not enough. The number of Caymanians I have fought battles with, and I've mentioned some of their names before, you know, they are ready to fight. But just I think the society has become so overwhelming in terms of the powers that be. And the problem is that a lot of Caymanians who are elected into office, to be frank with you, once they get elected into office, I think they lose the pulse from their people. Okay, and as a result, you will find that ultimately they are also not supporting you. Like I can tell you about the time when I tried to teach these little courses of mine I keep mentioning in government. I mean, I spent a lot of time to do that. I mean, I wrote books on it. I had 9 detailed PowerPoints. I had binders of materials for every course, some of which are published by me, you know, in the Caribbean, in England, in South Africa, and so forth. And I went basically to certain powers that be in government. I said, this will be very useful to improve the legislative process in government. The people who fought me were the powers that be in government. Some of them were status holders. Some of them were indigenous Caymanians, which I found to be very disappointing, because I was then associated with an indigenous Caymanian who had put together a firm to say, I want you and I to be partners so that my people can benefit from your knowledge. Because not only do you have good international experience, but you've now been in Cayman. At that time, it was about 10 years. You know the system in Cayman. I want now us to tap this knowledge so that my people, the politicians, the non-politicians, can learn how the legislative process works, judiciary works, and so forth. And the people who fought us were actually status holders together with some Caymanians. I can tell you, for example, one time she went to see a certain institution. She said, well, we can teach you something about the legislative process, about judicial review, how to interpret statutes. These are very good skills, not just for you as a politician, but as a civil servant, but also even as a member of the public, okay, when you have to apply for certain permissions. You know what this person told her? Said, well, we can't give you a contract to do this, and the reason we can't give you better speak to the Attorney General. Now, why does a Caymanian who runs an institution where they can make their own decisions ask, can you go and speak to the Attorney General? It's because they knew that the Attorney General was against it, and they were afraid.
Oh, wow.
But do you see what? Exactly. They were afraid to do that. So this is really, really a problem. I think that in Cayman, we need to continue fighting for people to become more knowledgeable, people to be assisted. I think that the Legislative Assembly is not doing really enough in terms of its supervisory role.
Supervisory in what?
Well, not supervisory. It's a function as part of the checks and balances.
Okay.
I don't think it is doing very well. I'll tell you, for example, people are very much afraid to talk about the judiciary. For example, I went to the judiciary one time and I said, can you give me a list? FOI request. Give me a list of how many judges have been complained against and what the results were. Give me a list of how many lawyers have been complained against and what the results were. You know what I was told? I found out that they never even kept a list of complaints. What they said to me was, there is a list which is loosely kept. But later on, they said, no, we can't give you this because it's confidential. Again, I went to the ombudsman. The ombudsman said, no, this is just information. Nobody it's not a judicial function. It's just asking you what the details are. Because my argument was, at the beginning of the Grand Court sessions at the beginning of the year, the Chief Justice gives a report as to how many cases, criminal cases came, civil cases, how many were murders, and so on and so forth. I said that those are just statistics you give. it doesn't interfere with the performance of your function. So if I ask you the details regarding how many complaints are given, I don't even want to know who was complained against.
Correct.
I'm just trying to
It's just
find
the
out
data.
the details.
Mhm.
But it's just the data. And then the ombudsman made them do it. And they gave it to me. And it turned out that some cases were pending for a long time. They were inconclusive. There are no real recorded decisions to say, okay, there was a hearing and this is what the decision was. They are more like, let us go back and forth and finally it is settled and so forth. That is one of the issues why sometimes, one time, Chris Saunders went to Parliament and said, there are a lot of people who've got complaints against lawyers. Up to now, they don't know where to go. Why? Because there has not been, until recently, a proper mechanism for complaining against lawyers. If you wanted to complain against lawyers, you went to the Chief Justice. And there were no proper rules on how to conduct a hearing and so on and so forth. But under this new legal services bill, which I read in great detail, there will be some proper procedures, appeal procedures, and so on and so forth regarding how to do that. So a lot of things need to be done in Cayman. I mean, look, Cayman has got very advanced systems as compared to other countries in the Caribbean, for example. Yes, but there are these little things here and there which are still have to be dealt with. People in government, for example, need to understand that if cabinet makes a decision, that decision binds certain people. I know a certain situation, I won't talk about it on radio, where somebody applied for something from a certain body, and then they were denied what they applied for. The law applied that they could appeal to cabinet, and then cabinet overruled that particular institution. Okay? After the cabinet overruled that particular institution, in other words, this person succeeded, their appeal was upheld. And now that person this year is being forced to fight the same battle because that institution doesn't want to continue applying the decision of cabinet. Yeah. I mean, those are things people need to. It becomes a precedent, just like the Court of Appeal. Once it does that, it's a precedent. It decides a case.
So that means
the DPP.
That means that the decision of cabinet is not respected.
It is not respected, and you are a member of cabinet. How would you feel that you made a decision in cabinet and then
don't even ask that question. I know exactly how it feels once you become an elected person. You got more say as a member of civil society. Trust me. You said something earlier on that, the same people that support you before, it's like they morph into somebody else once you're elected because it's like they actually change. That goes in line with why there's no respect of a cabinet's decision. I don't know why that is actually the case.
Yeah, and
everybody is looked at as a thief. Everyone is looked at as a liar. Like, oh, you're just another politician. When in fact that you are getting some genuine people who are wanting to go into that elective office, but automatically you're just stigmatized. The second you become elected, it's like bang. You become like every other politician. And that is so wrong because that's not a reflection of everybody. And I think for those reasons, you're not getting any and everybody putting themselves there any further. So I cringe at our future when it comes to those. Yeah.
And you covered this in one of the earlier shows, when you said you got into there and then you had to learn that I'm a minister, I can do this. But I can't do that. I can't get into the operational issues of the HSA. Okay, I can deal with the issues of policy, but if I try to get into the operational issues of HSA, they will cite the Act to me, and they say, "No, the Act says you can't do this." Okay, but then people who are out there
don't understand.
They say, "So." The minister Sabrina should know. I went to the hospital the other time. I was waiting for 4 hours. I'm going to call the minister. How can that go on? They don't understand that you can't really deal with issues at that kind of level.
I've had cases who individuals who hold it against me because I could not get them a job. I've had cases where, again, it just shows. This is why I feel it's so important for us to have these type of conversations here. Of course, it's going to benefit those in the future. Somebody had to go through it. But I would be called as though I knew every patient that was in the hospital. even though I was the minister. No, I don't. Many a times, if they didn't call me because of navigating Cynical, I wouldn't even know. But persons automatically assume that because you're in a certain role, that you know everything that's happening 24/7. And that's a breach of confidentiality, especially in that area. What, you think the Minister of Financial Services know the balances of everybody's accounts in the bank?
This reminds me of a discussion that Kenneth Bryan had with Franz Manderson on, I think it was on OC's show, because I have engaged OC quite a bit, and also Minister Bryan, especially when he was in the private sector, but sometimes speak to him privately as well. Because he was telling the deputy governor, you see, you keep telling us we can't appoint anybody. But you see, our people are coming to us saying the policies that you are following are shutting us out of certain positions. Okay? So now when that discussion went on, then I called OC one time. I said, OC, what the solution to this is as follows. The deputy governor is right. Under the Public Service Management Law and also the principles of separation of civil service and the political directorate, you are a political arm. You can't tell him who to appoint. Okay, we can't tell him who to appoint. But you see, you also as politicians, you have got a certain duty. People expect you to facilitate the creation of jobs, to facilitate people being trained so that they can have opportunities to apply for these jobs. So what I said, what you can do is call the deputy governor. Let him know, Deputy Governor, this cabinet meeting, we want you to set down, we want you to set some targets of Caymanization of certain positions in government. Okay, we will not tell you who to appoint, but we want you to set targets. Is it possible that by such and such a year, we should have such a proportion of people at this level and that level is Caymanians? Is that possible? And then the Deputy Governor will say, well, I can do that, but I will need money for training, for expansion, and so on and so forth. So the cabinet then said, okay, fine. If what you need is money and resources,
we'll give it to you.
We are going to appropriate money for that. Yes. But meanwhile, can we agree, you and us, that these are the targets you are going to meet and that we have given you the resources? And then you agree. So that way, as the political wing, you are seen as doing something that will expand
that you're funding them, but your voters are expecting you to they're expecting you to place them in a job. I'm not telling you things didn't used to happen back in the day, but what I'm saying and why it is so important for us to have these conversations here, because an educated society, a society that understand the intricate details of how government functions. And it's not going to happen over one show. It's not going to happen over 6 months. This is a drip effect as we go along, and we have real life scenarios like we're talking about here, freedom of expression, freedom of speech. We're putting in the case. It is these real life scenarios that persons in tune and listening will eventually put the dots together. This is why public feedback in this space is so critical, because if people understood the operations of how government function during a campaign, when it's just charisma and a show going on and they tell you what you want to hear, they would read through the BS. They would be able to see the BS. They would be able to understand the BS and make then a more informed decision.
Exactly. You see, it's like we were talking about, we've talked a lot about the immigration law. A lot of people don't even know
they still
really
don't know
how these laws are processed. Yeah, how they are processed, and so you don't understand the process. And then on top of that, you've got a complicated bill. But
hold on.
It just becomes very...
Stick a pin. You see how much articles are coming out now about unintended consequences the closer it gets to the 31st of December? You're hearing the fast food
Yeah.
joint. You're hearing the stories and
Yeah.
the testimonials or the barbers, but yet it was not supposed to impact our domestic market. I'm not by any means shooting down the government, so I don't want to bother reading in between this. But what was sold is not the reality, and people knew it. But now, as it gets closer and closer to coming into effect, I have read a number of articles where they're getting feedback from business owners and operations, and reality is soaking in, is sinking in. And guess what? The bill will pass unanimously.
You see, this is what we were talking about, and in the last couple of days, like weeks really since the bill came out, that you need to have what is called a regulatory impact assessment. You need to have some actual research, some actual surveys, which will allow you to predict reasonably what the effect of certain measures are going to be. You always have to have that with any major piece of legislation. Because if you just say, well, do we think that people in business is going to run away? No. How will it affect small businesses? We don't. No. You can't just rely on common sense. You have to rely on a little bit of survey.
Or a small
Some
group of
years
people
back-
that does not represent the entire 3 Cayman Islands.
Exactly. And you can't just say, for example, Michael has been saying, oh, by the way, I saw Michael Miles on Tommy's show. I think it was yesterday. And what I was expecting to hear from him was to answer certain things that people are still asking about. But rather than asking, deal with those issues, he went again to the old talk about, we consulted 72 organizations. Actually, it doesn't matter how many organizations you consult, because those are just looking out for themselves. What you need is an economist type person to be able to assess objectively what the likely behavior is, because that person can even tell you, well, if they have told you that they wouldn't stay because of X, I will tell you that that is not likely. It is not likely because of the following issues. It is too costly to relocate. An economist can get into those details and sort of to get away from the scare tactics. That's what they didn't do. We talked about. Sorry, you're there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you see, you have to get a regulatory impact, and because that's how you wind up sometimes making a wrong decision. Way back, I think somewhere around in I forget now whether it's 1982 or 87, I traveled through Europe, and I was working for a different government, and we traveled through Europe, and that was the time when the European Union was projected to come into effect in a certain year. Man, they had projections, they had books written about how each industry would be likely to be affected by the new stage of regional cooperation they had reached. They would tell you in fisheries, when the EU treaty, the Treaty of Maastricht, finally comes into effect, we expect that within 5 years, this is the way in which the Dutch economy will grow and export in the area of fish, in the area of shoes, in the area of this. That is what you call a regulatory impact assessment. That's now a real huge regulatory impact assessment. What Cayman was being asked to do with immigration is to do the same thing, but just at a smaller scale. How is this going to affect people in the financial services? What are the kinds of people who they employ? How long do they stay in the office? What is the incentive which makes them come to Cayman? If they have to relocate, is it more expensive to relocate than to pay the additional fees? Those are the sorts of things you have to look at. And then when they come to you, they say, oh, no. We are going to move if this happens. You will be able to say, for you to move, you need $1 million for you to move. But if you stay, you'll just pay maybe $20,000 a year, for them to satisfy the new measures. You are clearly not going to move. You will exaggerate it, but you won't move. Yeah. So the government really needs to get into a regulatory impact assessments. I'm not saying that governments really do everything wrong, but it's just that you have to continue to advance your systems so that when you are dealing particularly with complex issues like immigration, which, I mean, let's admit it, immigration is very hard to do, particularly now, because it was left too long.
In
It
such a
was left too
big,
long.
in such a big chunk, and then you have all of the additional fees that are coming at the same time, and people are still. I gotta call this. People are still trying to rebound from COVID.
Yeah.
You realize the
Yeah.
reset hasn't really reset.
Yeah. Because, I mean, just because we're not wearing masks anymore,
Correct.
things are the semblance of normalcy. But when you look at businesses which very often do 5-10 year projections, there are some of them who are still not meeting their projections today. Why? Because of what happened at that time. I mean, the government needs to be assisted, but the government needs to be open to discussion. I'm just disappointed that they did not postpone it so that it could be discussed a lot further. I listened to some of the submissions that Danny made on your show. That those suggestions about how they should postpone it, discuss with their constituents, try to work this issue about caps, try to work, the whole issue of unintended. I thought he had a very good range of discussions. And I'm just very, very disappointed that despite him having gone public about those, they were not dealt with. And there were other people, on the radio, who also were making certain suggestions. But the government is not explaining what they are supposed to explain. But let us see what happens. It will come into force 1st of March, I understand.
Or in March. I don't want to
to
give a date because I heard in March. I just heard in March.
Yeah, they just said in March. I suppose we're assuming 1st of March, but yeah, they said in March. So we do not know exactly when it's going to come into force. But look, Sabrina, otherwise, all the best again for the season.
Yeah, thank you so
thanks
much.
for the time, and
Sure.
we will continue to give you the support and see that you can rise to even higher heights next
I
year.
appreciate it. Real Michelle is saying kaboom to our educator. That's to you. There we
Very
go.
kind.
And even Keith
Very
Orrit
kind.
says,
Thank you, ma'am.
Keith Orrit says, this man is making us know the truth. So you've been getting a lot of feedback there. And Keith also said earlier that when they fire people like the ombudsman who is keeping the laws of the land, this will cause serious problems in the Cayman Islands. So that was said before he confirmed that you are speaking the truth, because I was putting these up. But people appreciate your contribution, Mr. Balika. And I mean, I have learned so much along with you, even though I thought provoke as well. I throw in those hatchets every now and again, deliberately, so that we can learn in this space. But I want to publicly wish you and your family, whatever is in store, all the best for 2026 for you as we continue to evolve and develop in this space. I want to honestly thank you from the bottom of my heart for jumping on board, for being one of those that inspire me to continue, because we'll go into a little reflections after you, unless other people call. But, starting out where I started out, having not been successful at the polls, however people want to define that, and just coming into this space. I mean, persons like you, seeing exactly what I want to turn this space in, and how I still am able to help where knowledge is concerned with the law. The topic was quite fitting today: freedom of expression and freedom of speech, because many a times, here we go again, the lack of knowledge, or people shall perish. A lot of people were just misunderstanding the purpose, the vision, the mission for the topics that we took on. But I want to thank you for people like you and Danny and even Alfred for supporting, for endorsing and getting it. And even for those who don't call in, but they call me personal, and I'm speaking about law firms as well. I want to thank them for their feedback, because I could be doing so much other things and just hold my knowledge and not do this. But here we are. But people like you, and for everyone who comments, who shows up all the time, I want to thank you personally, sir. And I want to wish you all the best for this holiday season and greater things for 2026. Keeping the faith. I just want to tell you thanks.
Well, thanks very much. I'm very much inspired by the whole the people who usually call, send in the messages and so on. They help me refine my thoughts. They also teach me more and more every day about the Cayman society, so that I can hopefully say something that will be useful. Otherwise, thanks very much. You take care. We'll keep the fight going.
Yes, yes. Merry Christmas. Take care. Thanks again.
Merry Christmas. You too.
Sure. Well, there you have it. Wow, that's been a lot. And thank you for all of you who are commenting and for all of you who are commenting and making your statements. You know, at the end of the day, this is what this is all about, and it's all about you. I want to take this opportunity to just say a big shout out to Slay Beauty Bar. All of those down there giving trouble in the evening. I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas to all you, and for just keeping it locked. Also to my girl Antoy, Miss Lorna's Fashions as well. Eddie and the crew, Eddie, yes, at Ed's Plaza. I want to thank you and wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and for keeping us definitely in your ears every evening. Thank you for your feedback as well. Even if it's constructive criticism, all is welcome, because as you can see, I continue to raise the bar here. But let's raise this festive spirit tonight, and it isn't a goodbye. It's really just a pause. I am telling you that, because my aim is to come back in 2026, ready to dive into exploring other conversations, new challenges as well, and new opportunities as we continue to grow together. And it has really been one heck of a journey. I've never, ever would have thought this was, let me just get back up this link here. Hold on. Let me get back up the link. Good evening, caller. I am trying to get the CMR back up. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I think we should be back up. CMR Facebook page just gave me a glitch. Yep, CMR should be back up right now. Yeah, so I just want to tell you all, thank you so much. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Auntie Sabrina.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I won't be long this time.
No, that's fine. It's 6:27. Danny hasn't called yet.
Anyway, I just wanted to call in because I know that this show is the final show for the year, and honestly, I just wanted to give you my respect. Okay. When this show started, it you had a strong idea, but over time, I can really feel it becoming its own thing. The conversations got deeper, the audience has gotten bolder, and I feel like the show found its rhythm. It for me, like it's not a show anymore. More like it started being a space, and a space where people can disagree, where you can laugh, where you can learn, and you can still leave with your dignity.
That's right.
Just wanted to congratulate you on the growth.
Thank you.
Congrats
Thank you
on
so
the
much.
Consistency.
So sweet. And you were the first official caller to the show. And you were there even on the first day that Sandra, when she brought the board, as we're going to reflect now, when she brought the board to the house, and she's like, this is how you're going to do it, and this is what you're going to do. And she said, we going live. And I like, going live? What do you mean? And she just turned the darn camera around. You saw me in my house dress, and I can remember Shaka Zulu. Oh boy, my friend Shaka Zulu. That's a love-hate relationship between me and Shaka Zulu. You know, Shaka Zulu complained about everything. He complained, well, I hope her lighting is better. Can you imagine? And look at him now. Shaka Zulu is one of my besties. And
Well, listen,
it is just amazing.
you listen. The house dress aside, you could put on a burlap sock.
God dang
Make
it.
that look good. Okay.
Thank you.
I don't tell you that.
Oh my God. That was
Congrats on
something.
the growth.
See, Shaka Zulu laughing. You know, you, Shaka Zulu, have been one of my toughest critics. A couple and more, and even when I was a minister, you guys came after me hard, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys were some of the ones that I said, Sandra, what a live show? You must be crazy. And yeah, it was people like you, Shaka, that I like. You see it, but you got to maintain your composure when you're an MP, and you're like, these people don't know me. Why? I wish they would understand. They're missing the point, but you just don't. And now look at you, Shaka Zulu. But Alfred, thank you so much. Shaka Zulu isn't the only one, it's a couple more. And over time, with me being so candid, inviting you into this space, people like yourself, Alfred, that because your clip, I'm going to play your clip. I met you after the show started, and I want to say just thank you, because from day one, we just hit it off. And we're in this content creator space. You come with some hard-hitting facts. You're prepared. You even got some secret admirers in the background. I'm going to hook you up yet. It's going to be to Sabrina's connection. 2026, we can go anywhere with this, but
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you like the LaQuisha, you're brute, but she got unleashed after 7. LaQuisha coming out at 7. LaQuisha's coming out as of 7 until I get back. But no, serious, Alfred, I want to thank you for your support, to be honest. And we love your cook food. I love you too. And you know what? The good thing is Shaka Zulu commenting, Alfred. Shaka Zulu bust out laughing. He keeps laughing, right? And Auntie Sabrina, we love you like cook food. What a mess, huh? What if he even get I'm assuming it's a he. Some of my cooked food. He probably won't go home. But it's just funny how the relationships have actually developed here, the respect, the bonds, and there are going to be some very hard-hitting conversations that we're going to have. And as we expect more legislation to come down the tube from our elected arm, let's declare it now. Sabrina ain't coming after nobody. Sabrina and all of you, Alfred, Mr. Balika, Danny, Siobhan, anybody else who wants to participate, any lawyers out there who wants to come in or give advice, we are educating the public. Please remove personal from these things. We're not coming after anyone personally. So there are going to be some emotive conversations that are going to be had as we continue to evolve in this space. And it's going to be a very interesting journey, Alfred.
Well, thank you for giving us something that isn't just noise.
Enjoy
the break.
Oh, I will. Hold on. Don't leave. I got play this. I got play this. Hold on. We got drink one for Alden. We got drink one for
Alden, give us a call. Fan number 1.
Yeah, he was the first
caller number 1.
You got to swallow too. Go ahead.
No, ma'am.
Now look at where we're coming from.
Confusing me with this poor guy.
Who that is?
I know.
We got drink one for Alden. We got drink one for
Alden, give us a call. Fan number 1.
Yeah, he was the first
caller number 1.
You got to swallow too. Go ahead.
No, ma'am.
Why did you stop at that?
Enjoy the break.
Oh my gosh, I will.
We'll be right back with you next year.
Definitely. And I'll keep in touch. Definitely. Thank you so much, caller. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Oh my God, look at where we're coming from. That was, I think, the last day after training with Sandra, and we were just giving a toast. And oh my gosh, you see the difference. Look at how we've transformed the space. You can look at that and see it pretty much that took place. This space just happened it was Wednesday that she turned that camera around on me in my house dress, and we were calling Eldon. Remember the first show? Big up to Flo, who saved me 20 minutes before almost showtime on the first day. I ran to Flo and they helped me out. They got me set up with my number because the phone that I had was not compatible with the board. And then, boy, me and Sandra, come, boy, we ready to take calls, and we couldn't hear a thing. Guess what? At the end of the show, 2 dodos, we didn't plug in the phone to the board. Boing. But there we have it. And, it is memories like that, or experiences like that. We cannot. I big up Shaka Zulu. Jim, you see the love affair between Connie and myself and Jim. Jim left us. We see Marshall, and that's really love. That's really, really love. And we got the likes of Miss Rosie Banks. Hey, we got a plantation crew. Hey, Shelly Carey, you're going to be in the Cayman Islands for the new year. We're looking forward to you. We got our Australia crew that we want to thank you as well. We got our UK crew that we also are happy to have, Miss Lucille. And we got all of you guys over there that is so supportive. We even got persons in the region, like I think, was it Belize the other day? And we got some Barbados people as well. And I know we have a big group, thanks to Miss Donette with her family over there as they continue to rebuild and recover in Jamaica. We want to thank them for their support. They constantly tune in. But you, each and every one of you, I want to thank you guys. But for where we're coming from, and here we are. Remember those days when Sandra would pop in the background and she would frighten the bejeebers out of me? I would just see the screen and I'd be like, oh, you're there, you let yourself in. That is the power of this space. And, it is just, look at how, as Alfred said, it's now a space. It is a home for everyone, respectfully. And it's just not just coming on here and talking. It's having to speak with a purpose, having to educate, because I really, from the bottom of my heart, feel that if we can continue to grow this space, be less judgmental of each other, even if sometimes our views and perspectives may not align with each other, but you can allow yourself to see it from the other person's point of view, and we all agree to disagree, and we learn and we meet a happy medium. Look here, nothing can stop us. But if you constantly just go with the hearsay and it's not coming from a factual point, which is why it's so easy for me to pick up some of these legislations, to deep dive into certain things that are not making any sense. There's an article on CNS where Nick Joseph, has given his opinion on his feedback that he gave to the government and what the laws now actually are saying. And I saw that article just minutes before coming live. And in his conclusion, it was profound. And coming for someone, a learned member of the judiciary and specializing in immigration law, I don't doubt the man. There is no room to doubt the man. He has given advice. He has been brought on board from other governments as well. And I sense there is some disappointment or more broader perspective. I will read it in more detail. But when you find persons like them giving their feedback and putting it publicly, kudos to them. And we will continue our best here, and you can put it together for yourself as well as we continue to evolve in this space. But Jim, it's a pleasure to have met you, to get to know you, to get, I could almost say you're my virtual husband between me, you, and Connie, because it's all legal here. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Julia, very, very much. Oh, Connie, I got heart and roses. Where about you? Mm-hmm. This is both spiritually and physically. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, Lord. Well, I'm happy that we could strike those boxes. Jimbo, love this family that I'll never meet in person. Maybe one day. Oh, you just not hanging at the right spot, my love. I ain't hard to find. Yeah, let's see how you can do that. Maybe. Connie Bonnie, you could be bored. We was checking my tournament. Oh, really? Tournament over the holidays. Don't worry, man. You can always message. We'll message. Like I told you, every now and again, maybe I'll post some stuff, but you will not necessarily have a live show. I'm really going to take the time off. And I want to thank you all for actually just acknowledging that. Real Michelle, I want to wish you all the best for 2026. Who would gotta remember those days with Miss Shelma? One day, Shelma, what called 17? Was it 17 or 13 times in one show? And it is those moments. And we remember that gentleman that called, and he actually blew me over when he said, if the going to the HSA, they ask him for ID, he would give them his laurels. You know, it is moments like that that will last with you forever. And it came out just so candid, so organic, and we could understand it. We just, even though the topic was very serious, we understood where they were coming from. We didn't take it as disrespect. But that is what a family and a community like this does. And that's when you are very comfortable in your space. So Julia, from a comfortable, safe space. That's right. You're quite right. Jim. Yeah. You pack up the man, you let him go. And oh my God, now he's stuck with mama and you're not gonna get him. Hey, oh, Jim, see, even real Michelle says, count me in. Listen, my Ted Green coming. Don't worry. Yes, I see kudos out to even all of those guests that I've showcased here on the Sabrina Speaks. Miss Delver Hurlston, Edibles, Exquisite Edibles. I know I got that wrong, but I want to thank Miss Delver for being the very first guest that I had actually on the show. We also had Ted Green, as he continues to make waves in the perfume industry. And again, Hibisco is out. And for those who have actually had the privilege of getting their hands on that, I want to continue to watch him grow. And I encourage everyone to support our local artists and our local entrepreneurs like Ted, small businesses. And, you know, we have all of our authors, the likes of Mr. Roy Bodden, and we had Miss Shalette Saku. Yes, we want to thank all of them for coming on. We featured a lot of young artists on Friday, and I wanted to go bigger with that segment on Fridays, but I don't think they understand the vision and the purpose of the space and why it was important for me to showcase all of these musicians. And here we are having a lighter Friday, but then it's going into hard-hitting topics because you're steering the direction. And that is why Alfred could say, it is now becoming a space. And nothing is off the table as long as we can deal with it respectfully. So it is quite touching, very, very inspiring. And it motivates me to really look forward to 5 o'clock. Can you imagine, for all the great things that are planned for in the new year, despite the challenges our CEO of CMRTV.com is going to face? We are going to be there with her because of the vision that she has for this platform, where we're going. It's going to take a unified force in order for us to come over this. We have spoken about the Constitution. We have spoken about the Bill of Rights. We see her vision with what she's doing with this platform. And I think that this is only going to show how unity can come, and we will all fight this together, because this space, for what it is becoming and its potential, I don't think the average person is able to even see it for the masses of reaching. You know what that is for one segment to really just get like 15,000 heading to 20,000 views for one episode. And what we notice with the Sabrina Speaks shows is that the numbers continue to climb even weeks after an episode is aired. That is telling. That is telling for the level of information, the knowledge and understanding, and the topics that we're having here. And it wouldn't be possible without a platform like this. So to say that we're not actually are optimistic for what the future holds for this CMRTV.com family is an understatement. Where we can go. Can you imagine? Everything works out and she gets her own radio station. We will be airing as well, everything live on her own radio station. And you can also watch us here as you are doing right now. So it is steps, small steps, but it's going to take every one of us to bring that into a reality. Damian Henry, it's wonderful when a show resonates so strongly, captivate the audience and truly educating the masses. And it is my honor, Damian, to be honest with you. It is an honor and privilege to have actually been able to be accepted. It's one thing presenting, is another thing of being accepted. And I must say, at the end of the day, it has been an honor. And I am very thankful for all of you allowing me here. And I will continue to raise the bar. As Jimbo says, Merry Christmas to each and everyone. Please be safe and love one another. So true. And, as we are going out and about our business, I don't know, look here, I can't bake, but I love baking. And I got to try my hand at a sorrel cake, not a sorrel fruit cake. I'm going to try my hand at a sorrel cake. And that's what I'm going to be using my time doing. I do a bad banana bread, meaning a good banana bread, but I'm going to try my hand with a sorrel cake. I've already, draw it. I've already steamed it. I've already boiled it. And it's just there now. So I'm going to puree all of that. And I'm going to try to put that together now and see how it comes out. I will share pictures with you to see, and my family's going to eat it. That one thing with my family. So those things actually relax me. And once I get started, it's like I try to bake everything you can find, and I will try all sorts of stuff. But it's this thing called Pinterest and YouTube and all of these recipes that coming up. I must be about 156 glazes for my ham for Christmas Day of different things. And there's also a sorrel glaze. Yeah, a sorrel glaze. So as I prepare for the holidays, to be honest, I give you a little insight of what I will be doing. But I got to try my hand at that sorrel cake this weekend. I got I got 2 parties I got to go to, so I'll be out and about. So I'll make sure I flush myself after those parties so that I don't mess up the sorrel cake, because they could have all kind of stuff coming on that cake. But at the end of the day, I really enjoy baking, but I'm not a baker. I'm a griller. I love outdoors. I love to barbecue. I love to throw ribs and steaks on the grill. But for the holidays, it's a little different. I am known for my ham. I'm known for my Cayman style beef. I'm also known for, I do a mean bread pudding. And even though it's not the traditional cassava cake and that sort of stuff, I did one last year and it was to die for. Again, all of the stuff that I bake, sometimes I tell them it's a mistake that tastes good. Eat it. Don't ask me what you call it, but it tastes good. And that is the joke of the family for us. So as we invite the Christmas holidays into our respective homes, however you're going to spend it, I want to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you. I want to say big shout outs to Danny Warren, who has been an advocate. And you all have to thank straight up Danny for me getting into explaining the law. He's the one that pushed me to go into breaking down this immigration law. And now that law has led us into the Constitution, and we will continue. And I must thank him for everything that he shared. I have a schedule lined up for the new year. And we're going to have other sponsors as well, that we will have dedicated shows. So as it continues to evolve, we will have a list of things that we will be presenting to you, and more engagement as we continue to grow here. But kudos to Danny, wealth of knowledge, inspiration, and thought-provoking. Oh God, he gives me something sometimes that I'm like, oh, what Dana coming with now? But yeah, I appreciate it because it challenges me. And when I'm ready to deliver, I deliver, and I'm delivering from an informed perspective. And to even Miss Lisa and Carrie over there in the BRAC, the Kim BRAC representative, we're going to do some more with people over there in the BRAC. I know great things are happening with the youth as well. That is not, we don't want to say that they're overlooked, but I want to do a lot more in incorporating the sister islands. We know that the Spot Bay Committee is hard at work, and I see them out there giving out the not care packages, gift baskets to the seniors in Spot Bay. And congratulations to that team who continues to grow and doing all of the great things there for the people of Kimmenbrack East. And Jason, Liz, I could get in trouble because I don't have all the name. I won't say China, but you know who I'm talking about. And to all of the people on the committee, even Sharon, you know, I want to thank them for doing what they do, and I appreciate them. Being someone with close and strong Kimmenbrack ties, it means a lot for what you do for the people of Kimmenbrack. They clean up the park right there next to Sharon, and they just go out, and Santa Claus, they have their big events at different times during the year. That is what motivates me, and it's that civic duty. Becoming involved in a community is what got me into politics. But oh boy, I should have stayed where I was. But no. That's an unfair statement. What I've learned during my time, and I have to give thanks for that. I want to give thanks to the people of Prospect, who even to the second continue to support me. I want to thank them for giving me that opportunity, because of that opportunity in 2021 is why I'm here today. I'm able to continue to contribute to society in a balanced approach, nonpartisan, and have the experience of being a minister, now coming in this space, in this platform, in order to educate you. And I have always been honest, I have always been upfront, and you will get no less from me. And I just want to publicly thank them again, which I've done numerous times before. Thank them for giving me that opportunity. A new chapter has turned, and I've embraced this. And no, not 2029. Not ever. I'm fine where I am. Whatever the Lord has in store for me, but politics is not in my lens whatsoever. I'm here. So thank you for all the encouragement. Thank you for all of you who are even trying to say, it's still a little bit thing. We'll get back to you in 2029. No, respectfully, thank you, but no thank you. For what we have built here, what we're continuing to build here, I appreciate that. But it is opportunities and groups like the Spot Bay Committee that has gotten me that recognition. And no, I just love it here. But kudos to all of those persons who give selfless, who recognize the seniors in our community, who recognize the vulnerable. And it's spaces like this where we advocate for legislative change. One of the things I wanted to ask Mr. Balika, which I think he alluded to without being prompt, if he was a part of this administration, what would be some of the laws that he would try to actually get updated into this term, bearing in mind April 1 year would already be gone. So technically, this administration, remember it's a 4-year term, April 1 year will be gone. You only got like a year and a half before to really get some work done. But it would be interesting to know what pieces of legislations that comes to mind that he would want, that the people of Cayman would feel, okay, this is a solid piece of legislation that would benefit me, that makes me feel a part of Cayman. And yeah, it would be interesting to see where that is. But I'm very optimistic for 2026. I'm really looking forward for the continued work that we're doing here on this platform, and definitely through this show. Real Michelle, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You have been my lifeline. I feel safe here. Thanks. and you're loved, Michelle. Thank you so much for your participation. And like I said, all the best to you in whatever fight you're fighting. We're here to continue to be that lifeline. We are all revealing in our success, Sabrina and Sandy. Did you know you are an earth angel? Merry Christmas. I didn't know, but thank you for telling me. Yes, yes, congrats. Thank you. Well received. Julia, whoa, hope we will all get a slice of the sorrel cake. Well, yeah, I could try it. What I'm going to do over this weekend is the test. And then, Christmas now is Thursday. Then I'll do the real big batch that I get comfortable then during the week. Julia, even virtually, will eat a slice. Of course, I can share it. I can share it with Anna. Connie, Merry Christmas to you and your family, Auntie Sabrina Turner, community activist, from my house to yours. We love you. Anna thought, we're going to get away. I got it. I got it. I got a little thing. We're going to cheers to the season and cheers for all the best for 2026, for wealth, health, unity, strength, openness, everything for the Cayman Islands, our people, and definitely the CMR TV platform. God's blessings on everyone. And we're going to do a toast. We're going to cheers to new beginnings, a new chapter for 2026 as we say adieu to 2025 here on Sabrina Speaks. 6 months feels like a long time, but we continue to grow. So yes, cheers and thank you. There you have it. I'm going to slug down a number of them. Oh yeah, I'm not even apologizing. I'm going to have fun. Connie Bonnie, yes. Ola, don't ask me about but it tastes good. Love it. Oh, okay, you've had it. Hey, Miss Lucille, Merry Christmas. I just woke up. I am not jealous for your food. Good evening, Sabrina. You all enjoy the Christmas when it comes. Lots of blessings to the Cayman Islands and our people. Love always. We love you too very, very much. You're more than welcome. Big love, much more love to you, Jimbo. I want to go, but I come and get stuck here so much interest. Oh, really? Maybe I can share the recipe with you too. Authentic is up next. So yes, Belika. We'll give it a legislation. Yes, please, Mr. Belika, give it some thought. It'll be interesting to see what key ones would make our people feel like, yes, this is home. This is what I want. Yeah. Annie Banny, I see you. Connie, let's raise our glasses to our last show for 2025. Yes, excellent months of hanging out. And oh, have I enjoyed you and all of you. That one for Shaka Zulu. And guess what, Connie? This one is for the love triangle between me, you, and Jim. Yeah, girl, we could drink. Well, it has brought me to an end of the show. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Please continue to tell people to like, subscribe, and share this channel as we continue to grow here. Because if I just pop up, you see, you Connie. If I just pop up randomly, it wouldn't be a scheduled program, and that would be only on my handles. So you look for Sabrina Turner, community activist, Facebook page, so that every post I post, you can see it. And also, I'm not so sure about the lives, but maybe who to tell. Yeah, Jimbo, that's a great 3-way. Oh, I love the way you think, Jimbo. Oh, yeah. Mighty God. You something else, Oh, my God, that man is something else. Connie, you are trouble. You trouble. Happy holidays to everyone. And honestly, God bless each and every one of you. Please don't forget to go check Edward down at International Lighting for those bedspreads. And, I want to thank each and every one of you for being part of this journey with me. I want to thank you all for your calls, your comments, all of the great energy that we're feeling here. This show will not exist without you. And you made Sabrina Speaks more than a program. You've made it a community, as Alfred said. And from all of us here at the CMR family, definitely from the Sabrina Speaks, for an unforgettable 6 months. I'll see you in 2026. And until then, be festive, be fearless, keep the conversations alive. To you, love you lots. God bless and take care until January. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, K-Man, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.